Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Your daughter? Hi. Hello.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Someone is saying it's buffering.
Hare Rama,
It's outside, right? It's outside anyway. Yeah, it's Wi-Fi.
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
It's just my app is fast.
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Maharaj has arrived.
Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Everyone. Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Shub Krishna Prabhu. Shub Krishna. मैं हारमोनियम रखूँ?
Mother will lead harmonium.
लहान गाणे नीट से तू जा त्यांच्या हिच्यावर तुझा
ते जाणार नाही त्याला.
नाही
हातात त्याला.
हातात एक महाराज को हाथ में दे दो बेटा
Thank you.
जय जय
One big one. This smaller one. Okay, nice one. Nice one. Good. No, high five is also okay. All right.
बड़ी दिक्कत वाली से था.
Okay. Harmonium.
Stay.
No, I will be there.
There's some other problem.
Always the problem.
You will see.
Sarva संस्थापको लोकानां हितकारिणो त्रिभुवने मन्यो शरण्याकरो लोकानां हितकारिणो त्रिभुवने मन्यो शरण्याकरो राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्द भजना नन्देन मत्तालिको राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्द भजना नन्देन मत्तालिको वन्दे रूप सनातनो रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको वन्दे रूप सनातनो रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको गौरांग गुणार्णवविदुजो श्रद्धा समत्तेनुताम् श्री गौरांग गुणार्णवविदुजो श्रद्धा समत्तेनुतो पापोत्तापनि गोविंद गोविंद गानामृत आनन्दाम्बुधिवर्धनैकनिपुणो कैवल्यनिस्तारको आनन्दाम्बुधिवर्धनैकनिपुणो वन्दे रूप सनातनो रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको वन्दे रूप सनातनो रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको त्यक्त्वा पूर्णमशेषमण्डलपति श्रेणीं सदा त्यक्त्वा पूर्णमशेषमण्डलपति श्रेणीं सदा भूत्वा दीनगणेश करुणया कौपीनकण्ठासितो भूत्वा दीनगणेश करुणया कौपीनकण्ठासितो वन्दे गोपी भावरसामृताब्दलहरी कल्लोलनिमग्नो गोपी भावरसामृताब्दलहरी कल्लोलमग्नो वन्दे रूप सनातनो रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको वन्दे रूप सनातनो रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको पूजत कोकिल हंस सारस गणा आकीर्ण हिमलयुरा इति सर्वतो व्रजपुरे Eshtattar Satasya Shimat His Divine Grace Srila Vaicharana Arvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavran Ki Jai Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sakauja Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavan Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyama Kanda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Brajami Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanandi Oh glorious Assembly Oh glorious Assembly Oh glorious Assembly Glorious Sri Guru and Shri Guru. Let's read the translation. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, and Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are always engaged in chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna and dancing. They are just like the ocean of love of God, and they are popular both with the gentle and with the ruffians, because they are not envious of anyone. Whatever they do, they are all pleasing to everyone, and they are fully blessed by Lord Chaitanya. Thus they are engaged in missionary activities meant to deliver all the conditioned souls in the material universe. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizingly studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus they are honored all over the three worlds, and they are worth taking shelter because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in transcendental loving service of Radha and Krishna. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are very much enriched in understanding of Lord Chaitanya, who are thus expert in narrating his transcendental qualities. They can purify all the conditioned souls from the reactions of their sinful activities by pouring upon them the transcendental songs about Govinda. As such, they are very expert in increasing the limits of the ocean of transcendental bliss, and they are the saviors of the living entities from the devotional devouring mouth of liberation. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, and Sri Jiva Goswami, and Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who kicked off all the association of aristocracy and as insignificant. In order to deliver the poor conditioned souls, they accepted the loincloths, treating themselves as mendicants, but they are always merged in the ecstatic ocean of the gopis' love for Krishna and bathe always and repeatedly in the waves of that ocean. I offer my respectful obeisances unto six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who were always engaged in worshipping Radha and Krishna in the transcendental land of Vrindavan, where there are beautiful trees full of fruits and flowers which were under the roots of all valuable jewels. The Goswamis are perfectly competent to bestow upon the living entities the greatest boon of the goal of life. For my respectful obeisances unto 6 Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Ji Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who were engaged in chanting the holy name of the Lord and bowing down in a scheduled measurement. This way they utilized their valuable lives in executing these devotional activities. They conquered over eating and sleeping, and were always meek and humble, enchanted by the remembrance of the transcendental qualities of the Lord. For my respectful obeisances unto 6 Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami and Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who were sometimes on the bank of Radha Kund, take this or the shore of Yamuna, and sometimes at Vanshivata. There they appeared just like madmen in the full ecstasy of love of Krishna, exhibiting different transcendental symptoms in their bodies, and they were merged into ecstasy of Krishna consciousness. For my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who were chanting very loudly, everyone in Vrindavan shouting, Queen of Vrindavan, Radharani, O Lalita, O son of Nanda Maharaj, where are you all now? Are you just on the hill of Govardhan, or are you at the trees on the bank of Yamuna? Where are you? These were their moods in executing Krishna consciousness. Sri Shat Goswami, Ki Jai, so where are we?
Chapter 2, Maharaj. The stages of devotion. The first stage of devotion.
Okay. Second chapter, beginning part?
Yeah. Keep it I'm sorry, it's not chapter 1, chapter 2. So it's chapter 1, not chapter 2.
The second part, that is really from material distress. Chapter 1,
Yeah.
the characteristics of pure devotional service.
Yes.
Awareness of pure.
Number 2,
Fourth part.
Awareness of pure devotion.
Okay, the rareness of pure devotional service. The fourth part. The first chapter.
chapter 1 and part 2 is pure devotional service, and the beginning is all auspicious.
Yes.
That is the part, right?
Yeah.
Pure devotional service is the beginning of all auspiciousness, and Krishna consciousness is all auspiciousness. Srila Rupa Goswami has given a definition of all auspiciousness. He says that actual auspiciousness means welfare activities for all people of the world. At the present moment, groups of people are engaged in welfare activities in terms of society, community or nation. There is even an attempt in the form of United Nations for World Health Activity. But due to the shortcomings of limited national activity, such as general mass welfare program for the whole world is not practically possible. The Krishna consciousness movement, however, is so nice that it can render highest benefit to the entire human race. Everyone can be attracted by this movement and everyone can feel the result. Therefore, Rupa Goswami and other learned scholars agree that a broad propaganda program for Krishna conscious movement of the devotional service all over the world is the highest humanitarian welfare activity. How the Krishna conscious movement can attract the attention of the whole world and how each and every man can feel pleasure in this Krishna consciousness is stated in Padma Purana as follows. A person who is engaged in devotional service in full Krishna consciousness is to be understood to be doing the best service to the whole world and to be pleasing everyone in the world. In addition to human society, he is pleasing even the trees and animals because they also become attracted by such a movement. A practical example of this was shown by Lord Chaitanya when he was traveling through the forest of Jharkhand in central India for spreading his Sankirtan movement. The tigers, the elephants, the deer and all other wild animals joined him and were participating in their own ways by dancing and chanting Hare Krishna. Furthermore, a person engaged in Krishna consciousness is acting in devotional service can develop all good qualities that are generally found in a demigod. It is said by Sukadeva Goswami in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 18, verse 12, my dear king, persons who have unflinching faith in Krishna and are without any duplicity can develop all the good qualities of the demigods on the account of a devotee's high grade of Krishna consciousness. Even the demigods like to live with him, and therefore it can be understood that the qualities of the demigods have developed in his body. On the other hand, a person who is not Krishna conscious has no good qualities. He may be highly educated from academic point of view, but in the actual field of his activities can be seen to be based on animals. Even though a person is highly educated academically, if he cannot go beyond the sphere of mental activities, then he is sure to perform only material activities and thus remain impure. There are so many persons in the modern world who have been highly educated in the materialistic activities, but it is seen that they cannot take up to the movement of Krishna consciousness and develop the high quality of demigods. For example, a Krishna conscious boy, even if he is not well educated by university standard, can immediately give up all the illicit sex, life, gambling, meat eating and intoxication. Whereas those who are not in Krishna consciousness, although very highly educated, are open drunkards, meat eaters, sex mongers and gamblers. These are practical proofs of how a Krishna conscious person becomes highly developed in good qualities, where as a person who is not in Krishna consciousness cannot do so. We experience that even A young boy in Krishna consciousness is unattached to cinemas, nightclubs, naked dance shows, restaurants, liquor shops. He becomes completely freed. He saves his valuable time from being extravagantly spent in the ways of smoking, drinking, attending theatre and dancing. One who is not in Krishna consciousness usually cannot sit silently even for half an hour. The yoga system teaches that if you become silent, you will realize that you are God. The system may be all right for the materialistic persons, but how long will they be able to keep themselves silent? Artificially, they may sit down for a so-called meditation, but immediately after that yogic performance, they will engage themselves again into the activities as illicit sex life, gambling, meat eating, and many other nonsensical things. But a Krishna conscious person gradually elevates himself without endeavoring for this so-called silent meditation, simply because he is engaged in Krishna consciousness. He automatically gives up all this nonsense and develop a high character. One develops the highest character by becoming a pure devotee of Krishna. The conclusion is that no one can truly have any good qualities if he is lacking Krishna consciousness. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantigam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanatamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namaha Om Vishwapadaya Krishnapadisaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, the second aspect of the character of pure devotional service, that it is all auspicious. All auspiciousness is developed by putting ourselves into the regulated devotional service, not on spontaneous devotional service. Spontaneous devotional service is all auspicious, but it will not come right away. Why? Because our senses have been polluted by indulgence in the activities of nescience. Means ignorance is overriding us. When you are ignorant, where is the auspiciousness? And an ignorant person does not discriminate between what is auspicious, what is inauspicious. He cannot have an intelligence that discriminates between what is right and what is wrong. Means an ignorant person is called a fool, and he does not become educated towards discrimination, what is right and what is wrong. That is real ignorance. However, he may be academically qualified. And all auspiciousness will arise in such a practicing devotee if he gets a bona fide spiritual master, follows his instructions properly, that pushes him on the higher ranks of devotional service. From Kanishta Adhikari, the ignorant level, he will rise to Madhyam Adhikari. Alright? So, the maturity of devotional service should manifest in the practitioner. All auspiciousness are benevolent characters. There are 26 qualities of the devotee. But if you are performing the process which is pure, and with full faith and conviction may come later on, but it is part of our faith that has to develop. We repose all our attention on the words emanating from the spiritual master. And if we execute, then naturally such purity not only is transforming the body, even the bodily level, in a pure conduct, but at the same time it can transcend. So the body becomes spec pure. No material qualities will be there. That is the perfection of the process. So Prabhupada said, I may not be perfect, but the process I follow is perfect. So Rupa Goswami is describing that process of pure devotional service, not conditional process. Rupa Goswami is giving this instruction on the foundation of the pure devotional service, pure bhakti taught by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he is transcribing upon the realization. The demigods are said to be pure, at least they resort to the mode of goodness. And what are the characteristics of one who stays in the goodness? In 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, everything is said. A Brahman is supposed to be in mode of goodness, where he develops his activities according to his character. That is developed. Samaha, tapaha, haucham, krantira, javodevacha, jnana vijnana astikyam, brahma karma svabhavajam. A Brahman has better opportunity to develop. So if one is born in a family of Brahman where such value system is there, that they must develop their profession in mode of goodness. They depend upon their behavior in mode of goodness, and because they know Brahman, they will engage in imparting the knowledge of Brahman into others. Therefore, the Brahmins are supposed to be qualitatively higher than other three classes. But in Kali Yuga, everything is same. Kalau Sudra Sambhavan. Alright? But that inherent pride of being a higher caste is something like hilarious. Prabhupada said, and this is spoken by him, that when we were children, we were playing in the streets. There was a family, a Brahmin family, but due to the circumstances, they gave up their Brahminical activities and took up any jobs, to maintain their families. So one Brahman who was much more, familiar with these boys, he took up the job of pushing the thela, pushing carts with the loaded. And have you seen a long cart with two wheels in the center, and on the one side the person will push his, muscular power to lift up all luggage and then walk further. So that is called thela. All right. So during play, the person would come to deliver somebody's goods, so he will pass through. And then, as children, we are easily very much fond of, saying something. Oh, Pandit ji, pai lagum. तो वो ठेला pusher के आप बेटे जीते रहो. He will give the benediction. Actually, to well wish and give benedictions to them is the duty of a Brahman. But he is not acting like a Brahman. But the inherent pride makes him, I'm still considered Brahman anyway. Brahma karma svabhavajam is not there. People easily give up that quality in Kali Yuga, even though they are given opportunity to be born in Brahman. Shuchinam shamatam gehe yoga prashta vijayate. A person is given opportunity in Kali Yuga to be born in a Brahman family or in an opulent family where they will have some kind of obligation towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead and devotional service. So, where are the good qualities? Unless and until these qualities are cultivated according to the direction of a bona fide spiritual master, then we can become. When Srila Prabhupada came to America in the beginning, Prabhupada said, you do not know what I am doing. I am making you all Brahmanas. Means I am teaching you all how to acquire the good culture, the good all auspiciousness within you, and empowering you to distribute it. So this Brahminical culture is all auspicious. It's all auspicious. And but one has to be guided in a bona fide succession. So Srila Prabhupada cites that example in Padma Purana. It says, Iharyasya harer dasya manasa karmana gira nikhilapi avasthasu jivan muktasya uchyate. If one becomes committed to Guru and Krishna's words and becomes subservient, then in the entire life he will spend a life of eternally liberated person. Then the further is saying, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarva gunai tatra samasate suraha harav abhaktasya kuto mahadguna mano rathena asati dhavati. Investment of the transcendental culture is in following in the footsteps, unflinchingly into the instructions of Guru and Krishna. If one does that, then all auspicious good qualities of all the demigods will reside in the embodiment of that devotee. So he becomes exemplary and So it's a manifestation of performance of devotional service. It's not a speculation. If I follow 4 regulative principles and chant without fail and attentive chanting, what I will become? All the good qualities of all the demigods will manifest. So we should target that from a Kanishta ignorant level, we should rise up to become pure devotee. Oh, you kind of pure devotee. You think you are pure. I know your past. We become sarcastic. We become oblivious of the nature of pure devotional service, and we try to measure within our material jurisdiction. Now, why it is all auspicious? Because it transcends the norm of material measurements. Everybody uses their little poor fund of knowledge to measure the other, but that is not the way we have to measure. How do we recognize a Kanishta Adhikari from Madhyama Adhikari? He must have some developed characteristics. Anybody knows? How do you distinguish a Kanishta Adhikari from a Madhyama Adhikari?
Kanishta is envious by nature, whereas Madhyama Adhikari...
No, he is having faith in Krishna. Right? One may not be envious, but he keeps relationship only with God without proper knowledge of God. He doesn't associate with the devotees. So the broader aspect of this practice of devotional service is received through association of the devotees, and one who constantly try to know about the Supreme by proper deliberation, question, answers, like that. We develop something more that puts us into the Madhyama Adhikari. So we will be empowered. We will be convinced, we will be empowered to teach others. That is the duty of a Madhyama Adhikari. A spiritual master expects from his disciple to be at least on Madhyama Adhikari level to preach others and bring them up in front of him. Get them initiated. In ISKCON, you have to do on a broader circle. Because there are multitude of spiritual masters. And you have to become also one day spiritual master to expand the movement. So you can't be restricted. Neither, can't be a preferable relationship. Spiritual relationship is to be developed within the disciple to the, at least starting from instructing spiritual master and expand. Then repose the faith in one person. That is another. So it's a gradual development, but everybody has right to expose to the association of the devotees. That's why the temples are being built. Gives an opportunity. Otherwise in Kali Yuga, temple worship is not recommended. Prabhupada was interested in preaching temples. Right? That we preach everything, we teach everything. And we give opportunity to the sincere followers. Alright? So, all auspiciousness can improve. Because all auspicious characteristics are developing, then we anticipate the result will be all auspicious. There's the strict lineage will concentrate upon the important aspects of the Yuga Dharma. Apani acharite sikhaye lo bhava. Then you employ the characteristics that are developed in you in the service of mankind. That is the best welfare activity. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that as a realized devotee has to work for the benefit of people in general. That is mass. Because mass of the people is in ignorance. It's called Loka Sangra. Loka Sangra. Sangra means put up a big association or gather them. It's not that in ISKCON you can have only a particular guru's Lok Sangra and they cannot participate in another group's Lok Sangra. That is not Lok Sangra. Guru groupism, there were sometimes, because it's a shortcoming, not fully developed, yet the prachar is going on. So some inconvenience has to be tolerated, but not anymore. There are educatory systems, and when one realizes this purpose of education, then it puts up a sure path in which ISKCON can become profusely spread out throughout the world as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has predicted. So it is a strategy for those who are having the global vision. It's a strategy. And where multiple of gurus and other pracharaks, preachers are required. So what is given is perfect. Prabhupada said, because I follow the perfect system, perfect instructions, that is in our command. Otherwise, on my own, I am not perfect. Because I follow perfect instructions. So, anybody has any questions? So, yeah.
So Maharaji started off with Vedi Bhakti and Dagaruga Bhakti. Bhava Bhakti seems so far away. What are some of the strategies that we can employ that while we're following regulated devotional service and might sometimes reach the stage of spontaneous devotional service, what are some of the strategies that we can employ to reach the next stage?
Right. It's a good question. Do we have, when do we have all bhavas, different kind of bhavas, maybe previously invested or materially understood bhavas, but spiritual practice is not there, neither we are told to get into that. There's a false rush in where the angels feel fearful to trade in. Bhava, and that is steady bhava. Haridas Thakur says in Harinam Chintamani that without Vaidhi Bhakti, going stage-wise, like Rupa Goswami says, Adav Shraddha, Tato Sadhu Sangha, Atha Bhajana Kriya, Atha Anartha Nivritti Shyat, Tato Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava and Prem. The highest goal is there. But then, if we do not progress from the one, don't jump. Anartha Nivritti is the most stumbling block in our progressive aspect. Once it is surpassed, then you will have a reconfirmation of your Shraddha, which will become unshakable, and Nishtha will be there. People do not understand what is the difference between Shraddha and Nishtha. Confirmed, convicted, that is Iharyasya harirdasya manasa karmana gina. Our conduct should be from mind, intelligence, words, mind and activities. All three aspects of our expression should be for Krishna devoted. So, then and then, the liberation, that is Nishtha, is a liberating point. From liberation, where there are no effect of the three modes of material nature will be there, then our devotional service will be valued. Put it, you are getting higher taste, so ruchi will be there. Are you becoming greedy for that ruchi, the higher taste? That is the next stage. Greediness is required. If we have to transform our material greediness to spiritual greediness, the same process is there. Then you can think of asakti, bhav and prem. So bhav bhakti is last but one still. Right now we are getting some taste of chanting and some bhav are there. But what is the bhava of a sweet rice mixed with sand? It tastes good, but it is not enjoyable. Bhava should be enjoyable by Krishna. We should not put sand and offer to Krishna that key. So therefore, even it is recognized that there are two pathways. Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti is there. But people want to jump on Raganuga Bhakti without getting purified and liberated. How do we do? It's a fiasco. You want to observe? Come to Vrindavan during Holi. They say they come all the way from all different places to Vrindavan on Holi just to play Holi with Bihariji. They will chant so many songs in that praise. Ab kaha jaoge Bihari, ab Holi hogi tumhari aur hamari. Like that, you know. Where will you go? You are not going to escape from our hands. And then they will throw on Bihari. Are we qualified? Then what bhava is that? Prabhupada said no. In ISKCON center, they can't come with the color and anything. Our chokidar will empty out their pockets, confiscate everything. Said, put it down. You can take it wherever, but you can't go there. And if the clothes are, colored with, they said, saaf karke jao. Otherwise, they will make a whole temple messy. You know. People do not understand the bhava. So, bhava is materially also transformed, but it does not reach to Krishna. Then why should we make it interference? Knowingly? Better follow Rupa Goswami's strict principles that will save us. Right? So the idea is that the process is perfect. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought perfect process and told Rupa Goswami to write that process. Up to Rasa Tattva and Dharasa Tattva has to be described. So Rupa Goswami is putting up Bhakti Rasamrita, the principles involved in pure devotional service. And this is one of that. Okay? Any other question? Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the class. You mentioned Kanishtadhikari and Madhyamadhikari. And you said the spiritual master at least wants you to be Madhyamadhikari. So when we reach Madhyamadhikari, there's a problem where, although I'm a Madhyamadhikari, you get that pride and then you go back to Kanishtadhikari. How do we avoid the pride first, and how do we maintain ourselves in Madhyamadhikari level? Is it just association, or?
Definitely. You are taking some risk to get contaminated. When you go and wash something else, the dirt may come to you. But that doesn't make you dirty. You are taking some calculated risk for the service of Lord Krishna. So, cultivating humility, side by side, developing other aspects of preaching, it has to come in practice. So, by our humble approach, we will be able to make better impact in our preaching, and it will save us from unnecessary pride or getting into some argumentative conflicts. Such things are weeds. They have to be taken off. Anarthas are like weeds. Because we have habit and or acquired knowledge from our material association, even during student life or practicing life, we find competitors. And then just to keep our status quo, our prestige, our this, so many subtle desires are pushing us into doing unwanted things. But that's the nature of material competition. But in spiritual, there is no competition. It's to increase only how to serve Krishna best and who serves Krishna best. Can anybody compete, Radharani? Can Chandravali come and interfere? She may try. That's all right. But because Krishna was enjoying this competition, Radharani would also put a lot of tantrums just to increase Krishna's love. So, the higher principles are found in Gaura Vrindavan on a transcendental level. To reach from material level to the transcendental level, Madhyamadhikari is expected to at least remain in between with full faith that one day we will cross over the material boundaries and enter into the threshold of transcendence. And that's how the Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Nishtha is the threshold. Liberation is the threshold to go on the higher. Krishna says, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samat sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate para. The para bhakti, the transcendental devotional service, is obtainable only after getting liberated from this duality and conflict. Not before. We may be following the perfect process. We will realize faster. That's the benefit. Otherwise, there are a lot of stumbling blocks. Mayavadis hardly know anything about bhakti. Impersonalists, they don't have access to bhakti. But in Vrindavan, most of them have taken up the authority of bhakti. Yeah, that's a sad part. It's Kali Yuga. But Prabhupada is removing Kali Yuga effects and gave us the higher taste, the higher purpose in the life, which is more and more dynamic in nature. It is not going to stop. Only Krishna's desire can curtail. But that's Bhavishya Purana is telling about the limitation of this golden age up to 10,000 years. But why do we worry? At least we have 10,000 years to get liberated. But that is a Kanishta level. Make it fast as much as possible within this life. Right? So, at least to become serious and preach others, by practicing, can't remain hypocrite all the time. In the beginning we may, but give up. To give up hypocrisy is the very subtle material nature, and that is the biggest win to cultivate anasaktasya vishaya. Biggest win. There is no loss. So, everything is available in Krishna consciousness. There was a question of different levels of what to do in the GPC. Shivaram Maharaj gave a beautiful explanation according to Bhakti Shastri and Rupa Goswami says, as long as we remain neophyte and would not develop much, still struggling with anartha nivrutti, alright, then we should concentrate more on transcendental sound vibration. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Concentrate on sound vibration, which are transcendental in nature. Even we do not understand how it works, but concentrate on hearing of what we can. So better hearing means better remembering. That is advantageous and that is auspicious. Then let holy name work on you, so become available. We are not becoming available to the holy name. We have some other plans and can you wait for 10 minutes? I just take a phone call and come back. Now, so, this what we call the understanding the most beneficial aspect through discriminating intelligence. Intelligence has fun to overcome dadami buddhi yogam tena mamopayanti. We have to constantly strive, struggling. Don't give up the struggle. The satata yukta. Whenever it troubles you are becoming aware and pray to Krishna for help, help, help. Desperate situation. And Krishna will rush. Dadami buddhi yogam. I will give you that discriminating intelligence by which it will become easier. We do not discriminate anything. Intelligence is a discriminatory. Bodily distinctions are not to be discriminated because you are not the body. Why do you make the body super and lower? But one can be less intelligence by willfulness. Even if he is given opportunity to come in association with the sadhus, they are more interested to touch him and get blessings of material nature. It's auspicious or inauspicious. Right? There's a story, Srila Prabhupada in Mumbai, when Juhu temple was under construction, one big Marwari Seth would come every day to darshan of Srila Prabhupada, touch his feet and ask for blessing. Every day it's a routine. Then and then he will go to his factory. Right? So, one day Srila Prabhupada abruptly told him, I am giving you blessings that all your material entanglement will be finished. And he never came back. He was so afraid, so afraid. What will I do? That's how it is. The sadhus are supposed to penetrate through the labyrinth of ignorance. But they do not want to listen. Just touch the feet and go away. As if it is so beneficial. No, it is punya, but what is the advantage without inquiry from? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement puts us on the threshold of inquiry. Sanatana Goswami inquired from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please teach me, who am I? What am I to do? How can I get rid of my threefold miseries? It doesn't come as a priority question to us. It doesn't come because of our material attachments. So chant loudly, it will start coming. Those who are Madhyamadikari, they start taking very calculated risk to venture in the preaching aspect. And they are doing great service to the Lord. Any other questions?
How to keep up the enthusiasm in serving the Lord? Because the enthusiasm level is, in case of it's a festival, it goes in this level. After the festival gone, it's come to not even zero, it's going in the minus. So
make it such a way that every day becomes festival. At least for you. But enthusiasm alone is not required. Along with enthusiasm, determination, utsaha, nishchaya, and patience, dhairya, sapta karma pravartana. All your activities should be conducive through the three factors, not one factor. Don't give up your enthusiasm. That means you have a resolve. Okay? Dhrada, nishchaya, tattva karma. Patience is what we have to pay. We have to pay in the patience. Why pay? Because the process is perfect. I may be imperfect. But let me keep up the message that is I'm supposed to do. Even sometimes your body may not cooperate. Would you give up? Can you give up enthusiasm? No. So you are working like a soldier. Soldier can't afford to be wounded. If we become wounded by the afflictions of material nature, then that is we have to concentrate upon. I don't want to get wounded. Protect yourself with the transcendental process. That result is necessary. Then your enthusiasm will benefit you a lot. Any other question?
This is going to sound like a really basic question, but we discussed many times how chanting Hare Krishna gives all these different results, like qualities are developed, one feels satisfied and so on. My question is, how do we understand that it's not a product, it's not a placebo effect, it's not something that we've done in our own mind because we want it to happen, we see it, that's all.
But if you have examples before you, Like Rupa Goswami's humility, Haridas Thakur's humility, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's humility. Every person has shown their character developed on the basis of humility. See the humility in them. See the humility in your following beings and get inspired. Somebody will be more humble than us. Go and associate with them to learn humility. We have to be like honeybees, taking little nectar from everywhere and collect. That's called Saragrahi. Vaishnava is Saragrahi. You can't depend upon your own soul self alone. No, we can't do it. This is Sankirtanam movement, congregation. All these devotees are congregation. So in congregation there are many. You make available yourself so you may know everything. So like that. We have to collect little. Do you think it's hard work? You can purchase bottle of honey and that will satisfy you instead? No. Our mind should be like Madhuka. You know, little nectar. So they become the best example even and for Radharani to inquire. Have you seen my Krishna? Where did he go? Where will you get the essence? One who is collecting essence. You go to him like that. Yeah. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.